It's been a very busy time, very intriguing and very enlightening time at the Global Maritime Security Conference here in Abuja. The International Conference Center has played host to participants from all over the world, and the major focus has been the Gulf of Guinea, how to keep the Gulf of Guinea safe. We've discovered that when we're talking maritime security, it's not only about piracy. We have armed robbery, we have illegal travels, pollution, illegal fishing, just to mention a few. Today, we'll be bringing you some of the interactive sessions we had with some key players who will be explaining to us more what the issue is with the Gulf of Guinea, what we could do to solve the problems, and what nations need to do in the area of collaborations. So stay with us on Nimasa this week. My name is Cordelia Obe.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for our maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
Some years ago, the proposal of a global maritime security conference here in Abuja would have been regarded as wishful thinking. The Nigerian government, its administrations, and its navy have risen to the challenge. They have made the wish come true, and for this we are grateful. Faced with these security threats, we know we have to do more. There's no shortage of strategies and policies, but I'm sure they've been thoroughly debated these past days. One thing is agreeing on strategies, another is to implement them. That must be our number one priority. In economic cooperation, we provide support to trade facilitation. Also, with the African Continental Free Trade Area, safe and secure maritime transport will be vital for its success. On security cooperation, we have the European Space Agency with the Copernicus satellites ready to support in combating maritime crime. And there appears to be potential and appetite for more of what you would call naval diplomacy. It is here that the EU member states are particularly important in framing an enhanced approach, perhaps leading to a coordinated maritime presence to make the most of the naval assets in this area. Maritime insecurity is a major challenge in the Gulf of Guinea. It raises costs, hampers trade, reduces growth, and makes us all poorer. We trust that we have all the elements that we need to tackle these challenges, to start translating our ideas and words into actions. And with the close cooperation with EU member states deeply involved in maritime security, we have the political and diplomatic will to support where needed to make this work.
Denmark will continue to strengthen regional capacities and capabilities through the support to maritime domain awareness, response, as well as institutional strengthening of maritime governance and law enforcement. It should be remembered and not forgotten that the main victims of piracy and maritime crime are the seafarers. Piracy and other types of maritime crime often arise from and contribute to regional instability, thereby aggravating the situation for those living in the affected areas and the blue economy of states in the region. For these reasons, Denmark will continue to contribute to the international efforts in combating piracy and other types of maritime crime. Therefore, a main priority in addressing them is maritime security and, in parallel, ensuring business conditions for the blue economy.
We are delighted to be here as we continue to strengthen ties under the UK-Nigeria Security and Defence Partnership. The expert level of discussions, the panel recommendations, and not to mention the vast turnout of delegates, are all indicative of a bright future for maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. In the Gulf of Guinea, we aim to support coastal states in their efforts to counter piracy, armed robbery, and against ships and illicit maritime activity. Sharing expertise on maritime domain awareness is a key area in which the UK can add value and which we deliver through our internationally recognised MDA programme. At present, while partners continue to operationalise the Yaoundé architecture, the UK, in partnership with France, also provides the reporting mechanism for global shipping transiting the region, known as the Maritime Domain Awareness for Trade, Gulf of Guinea. I would like to finish by praising the activity and progress to date, by praising the success of this conference in drawing attention to maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea, and the UK looks forward to continuing collaboration with our partners across the region as we continue on this path to a safer Gulf of Guinea for all. And congratulations to the Nigerian government for hosting us all here and raising awareness of these important issues.
The World Ocean Council would like to take this opportunity to really make our commitment and put ourselves forward to work with all of you to ensure that there's systematic and comprehensive outreach to the various ocean industries to engage in the essential partnerships with the national and regional and international authorities and agencies and organizations. We have been involved in the G7 Gulf of Guinea Plus efforts. We've been involved in maritime security collaboration and discussions in other parts of the world, and we certainly look forward to the opportunity to engage here in the Gulf of Guinea, building on the excellent discussions that have been taking place here at the Global Maritime Security Conference, and working forward to bring that business community involvement as a systematic and consistent effort as a part of the global partnership needed here.
Right in front of me right now, I have the Nigerian representative, or the representative here in Nigeria of the UNODC, that's the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Oliver Stolpe. We have the national, regional, and continental or global issues when we're talking about and different regulations being put in place. The melting point is national, but the regional has some loopholes. What are you doing to try and cover some of these loopholes to make those regulations see the light of day?
There are many issues, but the most fundamental issue that we're facing at the moment are the gaps in the legal framework of the individual countries. We have the commitments at regional level or sub-regional level, ECOWAS, African Union and so on, and of course the international conventions, but the domestication of these conventions, of these commitments, still is lacking. We have now basically with the Suppression of Piracy Act in Nigeria a very good example of how countries can tackle the issue. Togo was one country that did so before, but all the other countries in the region have only to some extent actually criminalized piracy, for example, established universal jurisdiction, and tackled also the other maritime offenses, so the trafficking offenses that you were referring to earlier on, in a comprehensive manner. Which then means, as a result, that we have challenges with harmonization, we have challenges of countries working together with each other because their laws are not aligned with each other.
In modern world and in democracies and in the kind of architecture we have as a state, what is a crime or an illegality must be defined in law, prohibiting it, provide the punishment for it, and provide the judicial and prosecutorial mechanisms. So if there is not a legal framework that defines, for example, what is an illegal maritime crime, then first and foremost, no matter what the good intentions you have, you will suffer a major deficit. It is in this regard that we have to commend Nigeria for recently passing into law, and that is this year in July, the Maritime Offences Act. So for the first time, Nigeria now have a robust legal framework in place to start effective implementation and response to maritime security. but there are other issues that will have to be addressed in the chain or in the spectrum of ensuring effective maritime security. And we hope that this conference, and that is actually the purpose of this conference, it has provided a platform for us to discuss that, for us to learn lessons, and for us to see the key gaps that we are supposed to address.
The Gulf of Guinea is very important. It's a major connector between Africa and some other parts of the world, if not the whole world. And over some time now, it has become a very dangerous place for travelers. And Africa has to take the front burner in looking for the solution to the issues in the Gulf of Guinea. Well, we caught up with a couple of people just to, find out what they've experienced so far, their expectations for the Abuja Declaration, and going forward.
Everybody is looking forward. All the stakeholders are looking forward to see what will be the outcome of this conference. And our prayer is that all what we have been discussing in the last 3 days will not be in vain, so that we will make the best use of what has come out of these discussions and the various papers presented.
As a ship owner and heading people who also own ships, what do you think your role is in ensuring that we have safer seas?
Well, we are supposed to partner with, we are, as you know, the most important stakeholder in this whole thing. So we are supposed to partner the law enforcement agencies, particularly the Nigerian Navy as well as the Nigerian Police and all the navies of the other West African nation or Gulf of Guinea. So we are open, and we have in these discussions have told them that we are ready for the partnership. We are open to them to even simulate with some of our assets so that they know how they can cope this danger and they can be able to do a lot of things.
The Gulf of Guinea is very, very a strategic area of importance to the whole world. But once we have some problems in other areas, like the Persian Gulf and others, attention will shift here. And that is why I believe that this conference is really, really necessary so that one time for all we tackle these swimming threats. And if you observe, there have been significant progress to the efforts for tackling security in the Gulf of Guinea. But we believe that for forums of this nature, we bring in all the major players, because no nation can do it alone. We need this effort. So that's why I would commend the organizers of this conference, whether Ministry of Transport, Nimasa, in cooperation with the Navy and other cooperating agencies. I think it would have come at a better time than this.
The 3-day conference featured deliberations on 11 thematic panels where experts led discussions and preferred solutions, options on a wide spectrum of maritime security and development issues in the region. During the conference, a number of observations were made on 4 major clusters of issues to an amenable regional maritime environment. These are A, the legal, policy, regulatory framework for maritime security. B, the institutional framework and capacities. C, the material, human, financial, technological, and other resources needed to enhance security in the Gulf of Guinea. 4, the ways and means of implementing the necessary strategies for enhanced maritime security in the region. In view of these observations, the conference resolved as follows. A, states of Gulf of Guinea and her international partners should give priority attention to training and capacity building for relevant stakeholders involved in maritime security, including national maritime authorities, law enforcement agencies, and navies as first responders. 2, navies and or coast guards and maritime law enforcement agencies in the Gulf of Guinea states should engage in regular joint maritime operations, including with international partners, to harmonize operational procedures, training standards, and foster interoperability. C, Gulf of Guinea states should explore the possibility of designated maritime courts to handle cases of sea robbery, piracy, and other maritime offenses to ensure quick dispensation of cases, in addition to capacity building and sensitization of judiciary on crucial relevant legislation. D, Gulf of Guinea states should put more efforts to implement various agreed strategies at the continental, regional, and national levels. E, Gulf of Guinea states, with the support of regional organizations like the ECOWAS, ECAS, ICC or CIC, and relevant international organizations, should continue to ratify and fully domesticate the provisions of the relevant international conventions, including UNCLOS 1982, that's United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, SUA Convention Suppression of Unlawful Acts at Sea, and Port States Measures Agreement PSA. F, Gulf of Guinea countries should explore alternative and innovative sources of funding for their maritime security and law enforcement agencies to enhance the effectiveness of their response to maritime incidents. G, Gulf of Guinea states should establish repeatable, documentable frameworks for interagency cooperation. H, Gulf of Guinea states are encouraged to strengthen mechanisms and structures for engagement with the local communities, fishing communities, and seafarers, including private stakeholders, for economic benefits. I, Gulf of Guinea states should strengthen, including funding, national, zonal, and regional domain awareness centers to enhance information sharing and coordination. J, Gulf of Guinea states are encouraged to sustain regular meetings of heads of states, heads of navies/coast guards, and other maritime enforcement agencies on issues of maritime security for mutual benefit. K, relevant regional maritime agencies should engage industry experts/representatives for informed policy decisions on maritime security and related issues. I, Gulf of Guinea states should promote strategic communications initiatives to enhance awareness on maritime security concerns and potential benefits. M, Gulf of Guinea states should engage in maritime spatial planning of coastal and urban areas to ensure that maritime security vulnerabilities are not created, particularly in proximity to critical maritime infrastructure. N, Gulf of Guinea states should explore opportunities for maritime law enforcement through targeted engagement with coastal and fishing communities to support maritime security efforts. O, Gulf of Guinea states and the international community should put mechanisms in place to ensure that resources that are illegally harvested/explored in the Gulf of Guinea, including stolen oil and illegal, unreported, and unregulatory fishing, are entirely banned, as was the case with blood diamonds. P, conveners of this conference, in liaison with the ECOWAS, ECAS, Interregional Coordination Center, should constitute a global maritime security expert working group to drive the implementation and decisions arising from the conference. Q, the Honorable Minister of Transportation of Nigeria should communicate the decisions and recommendations of this conference to the Presidency of Nigeria and for onward transmission to ECOWAS, ECAS, Gulf of Guinea Commission, African Union, IMO, and other international partners. This is the communique of the Global Maritime Security Conference 2019, dated this day, 9th of October 2019 at Abuja, Nigeria, Gulf of Guinea.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
This conference to us still yet presents another opportunity for us to put heads together to see if what we are doing is not sufficient, what more do we still need to do? And also, of course, as we already observed, it's not a one-man show. Nigerian Navy cannot do it all alone. We need to collaborate, we need to coordinate efforts, and in that regard to show that the safety and the security that we expect to have in our waters is ensured for blue economy to thrive.
I think every average Nigerian should be proud of this, and as much as we can, we will continue to try our best in the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. We will continue to sustain the tempo and make sure that the global community understand the basic tenets of these collaborations in terms of arresting the security situations, not only regional, but also international, within the international sphere.
The resolutions, no doubt, are far-reaching and will go a long way to provide further mechanism to tackle maritime insecurity and to ensure safety of navigation within our waterways. Let me assure you of our commitment in working with the International Maritime Organization, the African Union, ECOWAS Coordination Center, and our friends in the Gulf of Guinea to implement the resolutions of the conference. In this regard, and with your support, we would like to establish a GMSC expert working group, the Global Maritime Security Expert Working Group. This will involve the Gulf of Guinea member states, our continental and international partners, who will meet quarterly to follow through with the implementations of the resolution. I would like to thank the delegates from the various countries, international bodies, institutions, chiefs of naval staff, and the representatives of the navies of the Gulf of Guinea and other nations, and other industry stakeholders who participated in this conference. Your contributions were very insightful and indeed shaped the outcome. Our appreciation goes to our industry stakeholders who contributed immensely to the successful hosting of this conference. Your support is a demonstration of your unwavering commitment to the collective actualization of a safe region where there will be peace for our economies to blossom. And before I just wish you all a safe journey back home, I think I should give a shout out to the DG of Nimasa. I think you and the Chief of Naval Staff for their commitment and a job well done. I am especially very proud of them, to be honest.
We've seen the different aspects of maritime insecurity, and we've seen the work people are doing. What are you doing? It concerns all of us, and we all must put our hands on deck to make it work. It's been a beautiful session. The Global Maritime Security Conference, as powered by the Nigerian Navy with support from Nimasa and other agencies. This is Nimasa This Week, saying thank you for allowing us bring you the highlights. And I'm Cordelia Obey, saying see you later. Bye-bye.